right, final hour of the Fitz. Brett Blakemore with me, and we're now joined by Mark Rosen, who didn't show up yesterday. Was that common related, or was there something else going on?
I wish it were. I could say that with my right hand raised on the left hand of the Bible, as they say. But no, my voice is still not 100%. But I used to get it like once a year. I had laryngitis since Friday night, and I literally, it's not like I can fight through it. If you hear it in your ear and you have to, you're straining your voice, which I know after all these years is not a good thing. It's irritating to the listeners. And I've been dealing with it over the years. So it just happened to get struck by it. So for 4.5 days, I basically had to just keep my big mouth shut. So that's what I did.
If it's irritating to the listeners, then Common and I have been having laryngitis for about 27 years.
Yeah, it is. But I heard, I think it was Meat Sauce not that long ago had laryngitis. And I went, man, I always want his voice sound like without the air. I mean, it's hard.
Need a little break.
Yeah, you do. So I'm hopefully beyond the worst of it. So
well, clearly you weren't losing your voice from yelling and screaming hoorays for the Timberwolves last night.
Well, not last night. I was at the game Friday night. Is that Friday night? Yeah.
That was the game 3 loss?
That was a loss at home, yeah. I don't know. I don't think I was doing much yelling there, but it was a disappointing. That was, the home loss before that. No, it's sort of you could almost see it coming after early in the game. This San Antonio team I underestimated. I haven't watched them all that often, honest with you, and I thought the Wolves would have a chance of beating them, but even especially after the first game, I was wrong. I mean, this Spurs team is very gifted. They got young guards that are flourishing right now. They got the alien in the middle, and I was just doing a little reconnaissance on the old Wikipedia because obviously we know a lot about Victor Wembanyama, but I didn't know his background. I was thinking, well,
he's French. I know that.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine this? First, he's got an 8-foot wingspan. His dad is 6 foot. I said, well, how tall were his parents? His dad is 6'6". His mom is 6'3".
Wow.
So he got the genetic, and he was, Blake can relate to it. Can you imagine? He was a goalkeeper in soccer growing up. I mean,
I bet he took a lot of net.
Certainly couldn't kick it over his head.
Do you know when he got to his current height? Was he this tall as like a 7th, 8th grader, or did he come on late? Because he has the handles of a guy that was like playing some guard when he was younger.
At an under 11 game, he drew the attention of this team in France after a youth coach noticed him on the bench due to his exceptional height. He was 5'11" as an 11-year-old.
Wow.
Initially mistaking him for a coach. He thought he was the assistant coach. And then in 2018, he was loaned to FC Barcelona. How about for an under-14 tournament? And he declined an offer to continue his career with Barcelona. That's too bad. He could have been in the World Cup this year as maybe the keeper for France. Then he went, kind of turned pro in 2019, 2021. And, he just kind of developed and started filling out a little bit. And the rest is, as they say, history. And San Antonio Spurs were fortunate enough to get the number 1 overall pick. And here we are. And watching his skill set, I was just talking to one of our sales guys. I said, I've seen watching basketball my whole life, and I've seen all the great centers in the game. I've never seen anyone with the skill set that this kid has. I mean, to be able to dribble the ball, not just dribble the basketball up, okay, that's a skill, but fluid in his three-point shooting. I mean, you think about Shaq. Shaq could make a free throw. He couldn't make a basket from outside 4 feet. We watch what Gobert has to go through.
Rudy Gobert can't catch a pass from me to you.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But Wemby's got, and I think because he played other sports, particularly probably his football, soccer for us, his eye-hand coordination and what he does with the ball and all the things he's able to accomplish at such a young age, it's frightening to think how good this guy's going to be.
He can get better.
Oh, he will get better.
Just think about it.
But I just think that, and you watched Timberwolves, and I think even Ant said it after the game. There are certain things you just can't practice against a guy like that. you can see that the shots are being altered anytime they get in the paint. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, you have to put an arc on the ball that's not natural for you. Otherwise, you're going to swat it away like a fly.
Yeah.
But let's take nothing away from the rest of the team. They're very good. Yet here we are, despite all of that, the Wolves are back home on Friday night. They have a chance to make it a 3-3 series, which is kind of a head scratcher when you think of how they've lost some of these games in one-sided fashion, that they can come back home and send it to a potential 7th game, which is remarkable to me, given the fact that when they struggle, as we've watched again last night, they're so discombobulated and disoriented that it's hard to watch. And that's a team-wide problem. Ant is obviously laboring through 2 knee problems, and he's doing the best he damn can, under the circumstances. Io's, playing a little bit better since he's got healthier. Jaden's been, for the most part, just okay. He's not in foul trouble. I know it goes without saying, this team desperately misses Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, he adds an element that this team just can't make up with the bench, with anybody, defensively and with 3-point shooting, which the Wolves just don't have enough of. So, I mean, to me, like I said, coming back home, the fact that they have a chance to make it a 7-game series, when, as they say, anything can happen, is pretty remarkable, to be able to compete against that team. So, but you look at the playoffs and you think to yourself, man, Tim Connolly can do a lot as a GM. I think he's a pretty sharp dude. He's made some good moves. But in order to look in their crystal ball and say, we got to deal with OKC and San Antonio for the next decade. OKC's got tons of first round and second round draft picks. They run 10 deep. San Antonio's got young guards everywhere. Ron Harper's kid, he played real well. They got talent everywhere. How is even a team as good as Minnesota, even if they get Dante back, how are they going to move the needle to compete with these 2 teams in the next 5 years? So, we've seen Connolly make some brash moves, but I think he's going to have to make another one to get another guard or something. I mean, obviously, Julius Randle's almost playing himself into a trade right now. I don't know what the hell is going through.
He's losing the value on that trade, though, right now.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's not all on him, but, man, he's just been so awkward to watch at the shot clock expiring, and he's forcing things. And it's not just him, obviously, but it's not a good look when you need to have your second guy play at a high level against a team like San Antonio. And it just, and Gobert, I don't know what you're going to do. I think go small. I mean, put Naz Reid out there, start the game. I think Rudy is, can obviously affect some shots and does some things, but
not against Wemby, he doesn't.
No, it
nobody
doesn't matter. But that's why I'm saying Naz may get in foul trouble, but I would shake things up a little bit at home and maybe start Naz. It's my own little 2 cents.
Coach Rosen gives us more advice on what he would do for the Wolves in Game 6 Friday night. But let's do that keyword over there, Brett.
The Fan and BigDeck.com and give a shot to win bonus bucks for the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is grand for this hour. Keyword grand, KFAN.com. Keyword grand.
It's brand.
About Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is elite defensively with his rim protection. The Wolves have looked as thrown off offensively as maybe I've ever seen them. They've had times in the past where you're missing shots, maybe you're not scoring because of that. But in terms of just like not having an answer for how to dissect the Spurs defense, it seems like we're at that point with the Wolves now, where as the series is going along, it's like it's the same things happening over and over and over again. We're not seeing changes. We're not seeing adjustments. So other than the lineup change that you suggested, is there a way that you attack San Antonio's defense differently from a philosophical X's and O's standpoint?
Well, they're having enough meetings over target center right now, and looking at films over and over and over again to figure out what we all know already, that Anthony Edwards gets double teamed from the time he crosses midcourt. So, got to give him some help right away. Last time I looked, if he's getting double teamed, somebody's open, and they got to get rid of the ball a lot quicker because he's getting trapped a lot. Obviously, as I mentioned, as we've seen, everybody's watched the series. Anytime Wemby's in there, the guys are getting their shots altered unless they're, there's a couple of guys that, TJ Shannon's tried to go over him a couple of times, and I don't think you can stop attacking him, but you got to have better ball movement. You just do it. The ball, as they say, the ball gets sticky. I mean, all of a sudden Anthony's hanging on the ball and he's dribbling, and there's no cohesiveness. I heard Trent Tucker on with you a little bit earlier for a while, and there's not a flow to their game, and I don't know how you fix that. I think when San Antonio came back from when Wemby's suspension game, Greg Popovich, the elder statesman, the Hall of Fame coach, and now who's kind of the guiding force behind San Antonio behind the scenes, I think had a little chat with Wemby. And, I'm not saying he's taken over the coaching duties. He's not, but I'm sure he's given him some sage advice about how to attack the Wolves. And this is nothing new. I mean, you got to have another option. And Ayo's got to be that guy. Ayo can get inside, try to those floaters. Mike Conley can be good at it at times, but he's limited in terms of what Mike Conley, and certainly limited on defense. And to me, it just a lot of it is Jaden McDaniel, got staying out of foul trouble and being more aggressive, and Naz Reid, because I just don't know what Julius Randle, unless he surprises the hell out of all of us, and he's capable of it. We've seen it. But he's got to be that second option. He can't just hang on to the basketball. And you see the shot clock dwindling on your TV. It's 5, 4, 3, and all of a sudden Julius is double pumping and jacking up the shot. I don't know how to answer that because Wemby's the great equalizer in the middle. And when the big thing, of course, everybody talks about it like the announcers go, when Wemby sits down, which he does, often enough, the Wolves have to attack the paint. You think they don't know that? Well, of course they have to, and they have to continue to do that at a higher rate if they have a chance to go at them as best they can. And there's no magic wand. Like I said, they've beaten them twice, so they have an opportunity again here on Friday night to at least make it a 7-game series. But their 3-point shooting has got to click. I mean, that's just it. San Antonio, those young kids have been hitting the threes a little bit more regular. And hope Wemby gets in foul trouble. I don't know what else to say.
That's a lot to hope for. Trent Tucker was in studio in the noon hour today. And, Trent's too nice of a guy to say, hey, the coaching's awful, we need to make a change. Right. But he kind of alluded to there's some coaching stuff that we haven't been doing in this series that could help turn this thing around. And I'm curious what you think about Chris Finch, because I've always liked him. I know there's been some basketball people that have been hating on him over the years, and I guess I didn't quite understand because, they've been to the Western Conference 2 years in a row. They upset Denver without basically Anthony Edwards for half the series and some other injury stuff. Yet that being said, kind of the lack of adjustments in this series to me has been a little alarming. So what's just kind of your overall view of Chris Finch as a coach?
I think the negative, and I haven't been saying this all year, but I always thought that TJ Shannon should get some more playing time because of the spurts that I saw him in, where he had that extra gear that no one seemingly else has on the team to get to the basket. Not, necessarily a playoff situation, but he was buried on the bench. And now all of a sudden he's starting. How does that happen? I mean, I know how it happens.
Well,
because
DiVincenzo injury and
that's a big part of it.
Ant was playing limited minutes there for a while.
Right. And if Dante was healthy, TJ wouldn't be getting the playing time. You could still see he's a little green and wet behind the ears about certain decisions he makes. But I thought Chris sometimes, he's got caught a couple times with not taking a timeout or not waiting too long. I think to try to change things up. I don't know how many more options he has with that lineup. I mean, you look at the roster and going, I'm not quite sure what else you can do other than saying Gobert is as big a defensive presence as he has and can alter shots. That he's he can't hang on to the basketball. I mean, we were talking about Wemby's hands, and Rudy is just dropping the ball. And if he does catch it, we're just talking about his lack of. I mean, he got a shot blocked 2 or 3 times, not necessarily by Wemby all the time. So I mean, I think Chris Finch has got. It's easy and he's open to criticism like any other coach is for lineup changes or not taking the right timeouts or whatever the case may be. Not screaming at somebody during a timeout. I don't know. I mean, they're making the proper adjustments. I think for the most part, I just think they're playing right now a better basketball team.
You know, when I look at concerns at the Wolves, Jaden McDaniels is relatively low on my list, but for a guy who was like the alpha of the Denver series, and when Anthony Edwards went out, like he wanted to take over and be the guy, he's been in foul trouble for most of this series. And, you know, I'm curious as to how do we get that same, I don't want to use the word alpha again, but like that same dog we had in that first series. It seems like all of a sudden he's just been very quiet in this series.
Yeah, he's got a short fuse, as we've seen, too, defensively. And I think that he needs to concentrate. I mean, but they need a lot more production from him offensively. And some of those shots weren't dropping even last night. And, you know, he's been sporadic, and that's doing work. And again, the Wolves cannot afford to have Jaden McDaniels and what's his name? Our other forward, Julius Randle.
Oh, Julius Randle.
Yeah, Randle, as inconsistent as they have been. Both, when you're playing a team like this, you can't have off nights. Obviously, they've run out of off nights. They have to click. And we've seen it at times. We've seen it in this series even. And, you know, it can be a funny game. You start dropping shots early. Even they got back in the game last night. They were down by 16, 17, and all of a sudden it's 61 all.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, here we go. We got a game.
A chance to steal one.
Yeah. Push them, and then it just, boom, fell apart. And then not being able to run the break. Their transition game hasn't been there for the most part. But again, I tip my cap to San Antonio. That's a really good team, and they're seemingly on a collision course with OKC, who are, you know, look invincible at the moment. But they've been, you know, they benefited from obviously not having Doncic in there for the Lakers, and they haven't had a lot of pushback so far. They'll get pushback from San Antonio if it ends up being those two in the Western Conference Finals.
You mentioned Julius Randle. I saw this. I brought this up with Trent Tucker as well. Wolves are getting just 0.85 points per direct touch from Randle in these playoffs. That's the second worst mark in the tracking era for a player with 300-plus direct touches in a single playoff run last night. 6 for 17 last night, 0 for 4 from 3, only had 1 assist.
I don't understand what's going through his head. I mean, this is a veteran player, obviously a big cog in the trade with Karl Anthony Towns and getting Dante and Julius Randle. And we've seen Julius at his best. Was almost going to be an all-star type caliber player.
He was great in the playoffs last year.
He was.
Yeah, he was terrific.
I don't know where that Julius has gone, but he's either lacking some confidence right now, not believing the shot's going to go down. But, I mean, just hanging on the ball way too long, and then he gets the ball either swatted away or he turns it over or whatever the case may be. It's just not smooth operating for Julius at all, and it's really hard for the fans are all watching this and reacting on social media. And, you know, Finch defends him to a fault. I mean, and it's like, okay, yeah, we know he's not all the problems on defense, but don't be afraid to come out and say he has in the past. We need more from him. We absolutely need more from Julius and Jaden on Friday night. You know what Ant's going to give you. Those two guys have got to play at the best level possible in order to make this a 7-game series.
All right, we'll talk probably a little bit of the other stuff going on around town. The Wild have a big game tonight. Twins won. Frost are done. We got NFL schedule coming out tomorrow night. We've already had some leaking with the Viking schedule. We'll do all that next with Rosey. All right, final segment with Mark Rosen. Brett Blakemore here as well. I'm Brandon Molesky in for Common. You know, it's not just Wolves playoff season. It's not just Wild playoff season. It's not just Twin season. It's NFL schedule leaking season.
Oh, my goodness.
Where we have to leak everything so we can get as many clicks as the NFL can possibly get. And we have
tomorrow.
It's going to get even worse tomorrow. The funniest part about the schedule thing is we already know all of our opponents,
right?
Where we're playing them. But the one thing we saw today is, do you know how to speak Spanish? Did you ever learn how to speak Spanish?
I took Spanish for probably 6 years. That was my language of choice.
For 6 years?
Well, I mean, started what grade?
You're like fluent.
Well, no, I was for a while. Not fluent, but I used to. I love aging myself because that's what I do. We used to take Spanish lessons. The TV as well. There was a instructor. I think his name was like Domingel. So he would go. He'd wear a suit, black and white TV, and he'd go, "Repitan, por favor. Hola, señora." And he'd wave his hand like a TV, like you have to repeat it. Hola, señora. Hola, señorita. You do the thing with his hand. So this is what we did. We stared at a TV. We also had, obviously, books at some point. But, yeah, I took Spanish, most of the time. Now I wish I'd taken, since I'm back from Italy.
You're Italian.
I like the language a lot more, yeah. Buongiorno. Everything is...
Well, now you need to know about Futbol Americano in Mexico.
Right.
Because the Vikings are heading to Mexico City, Week 11, versus the 49ers. That'll be on Sunday Night Football.
Home game for San Francisco.
So the Vikings have 9 home games this year, and this will not take away one of them. So
correct.
It's going to be another year where we have 9 home games, 7 road games, and then this technically is... and
it's really not any... The good fortune is that it's not even a longer flight than it is flying if they were to fly to San Francisco. It's the same time zone too. So
a little longer flight, but you don't want
longer. But I don't think it's like
time change.
Yeah, you're not going to deal with you're going to London.
Sounds like elevation there though. Like it's like 7,000 feet.
It's I assume that
I didn't know that. I've never been to Mexico City. I didn't know.
I haven't either.
Up in the mountains.
My son's one of his best friends lives there and loves it. Absolutely loves Mexico City. I went think of all the resort areas, but. He loves the city. So, that I'm sure there'll be, tickets available. San Francisco will travel well, but that's November 22nd. Tomorrow
Leo's birthday.
What's that?
It's my son's birthday, Leo.
There you go. Well, I was just mentioning that you're talking about schedule leaks. We know that all of the international games have been announced. This is the one that gets me, and what we talked about a little bit off air. Schefter was talking about the first Thanksgiving Eve. Let's keep that in mind. Not Thanksgiving. We already know there's 3 games on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Eve NFL matchup. The Packers and the Rams on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving on Netflix. So my question is with schedules released tomorrow, you have to believe that both the Packers and the Rams will have their bye week the Sunday before. How can you expect to play a game on Sunday? That's never been done before. And turn around and play on Wednesday? That's an injuries waiting to happen. So I'm anxious when the schedule comes out. Like you said, we already know who the opponents are. Just a matter of when they're playing them. And
well, and speaking of the opponents,
that just doesn't. That's just what night of the NFL just taking over everything.
They'll have one on Tuesday.
Now you got the families home for Thanksgiving, and they're going, "Wait a minute, we got a game on Wednesday night. Forget about."
They're greedy. They have to own every single day.
They have it.
It's the same reason we're getting all these leaks because they have to have news every 2 hours of the day.
Amazing.
Well, obviously we don't know when and where the Vikings are playing all these games, but we know their opponents.
Yes.
And I am a big believer in the challenge of the schedule and how that'll impact your record before a year, right? Like last year, we had to play the AFC North and we had to play the NFC East. This upcoming year, we play the NFC South.
Yep.
And the AFC East, which obviously New England looks good now. Buffalo's going to be good, but there's still 2 gimmies there in Miami and the Jets. So you have 2 gimmies in the AFC East. The NFC South is always very beatable. Now, obviously all the teams in the NFC North are also playing these teams, but when you're battling for wild cards with the rest of the league, you got to take advantage of the schedule this year.
100%. And it's when the schedule comes out tomorrow night, you'll start, the old get the binoculars out. I can't find a 3rd or 4th loss here. I think that, hope springs eternal. And with the Vikings, looking at it, the first thing I look for is when their bye week is. I always look for, and how many, obviously, for the fans, it's a big deal because they want to see, how many nationally televised games, how many primetime games they have, trying to make up their, the kids' schedule with maybe with school or, planning your own vacations. People make a lot of plans around the NFL schedule. It's a fact of life. Now, as I mentioned, I don't think the Vikings have any. They're not playing any other international game. Obviously, they're playing the one in Mexico City. They're not playing on Thanksgiving. I don't believe. I don't believe they're playing on Christmas Day. We'll find out 100%. So, we'll see how this all washes out. But I think normally the NFL's done a pretty good job of scheduling, let's say, like the Vikings playing the Packers or the Vikings playing one of their their division rivals at the end of the year. They might open up with one, but normally they like to push back. They want those crucial divisional games near the end of the year where they really mean something. Not just with the NFC North, but with all of them, because that's the way it should be, because you want to play your best football, in December, obviously, or January, but in December in particular. So I would look for, one of those games against the Bears, Lions, or Packers, whatever, in the end of December. So other than that, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of intrigue with it. I just find this Wednesday night matchup interesting because the only way you can pull that off is that both the Packers and the Rams have to have that Sunday off before.
Well,
it doesn't, otherwise it's just a health concern.
Someone threw out on text that you could play a Thursday night game, but they're not both going to play a Thursday night game.
No, they're not going to play
They can't play each other back to back, so that doesn't work.
If they aren't, then this whole guise of saying we're interested in the health of the players.
Oh, they're not. They're interested. They're interested in money.
No, but you got to have both those teams off on the Sunday before. But
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
They probably. But this is interesting.
This is the way
Wednesday night before Thanksgiving.
This is the way the league is going with all the international games. They are going to get to a point where at some point it might even be the following season where every week of the year there will be an international game, and they're going to have to figure out, how do we schedule around having to leave the country and flights and all that stuff?
And even though the Vikings aren't playing in London this year, there's territorial right. There's a lot of marketing stuff that goes on, and rights fees that are paid. And the Vikings are one of the rights holders in London, even when they're not playing there. To have their gear there, to have a presence there. Blake was you were at Tottenham Stadium, right?
I was.
Yeah, that's a great spot. I love watching American football. I love watching the NFL there. But the Vikings have a huge presence there, and they will continue to do so.
Let's see how good your Spanish is.
Oh, is it Larry Modelo guy?
Not more Amsterdam guy.
Oh.
It's just one, though. He could have written a whole bit. Pez Espada. What does Pez Espada mean?
I have no idea.
Swordfish.
Oh. Pez is fish. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
Pesce. I think it's Pesce. I think it's pesce.
Okay.
Maybe that's
spelled it P-E-Z, but yeah.
I don't know.
I learned something new in Major League Baseball today.
What's that?
I had never known that there was a term called throwing a Maddox or throwing a Greg Maddox until Bailey Ober did it yesterday.
Well,
apparently throwing a Maddox is a complete game shutout where it's under 100 pitches. He went under 90 yesterday, which I don't even know how that's possible to throw 9 innings, 89 games of just 2 hits, complete game shutout for Bailey Ober, even though he has no velocity. He has no velo.
I know. Well, either the Greg Maddox.
That was a different game back then, but yeah.
Much different game, but Maddox.
Well, how about the guy that doesn't have the velo can actually go at 9 innings? Have we ever thought about that? Instead of just going in and throwing as hard as you can for 5 innings.
I don't know if that was a reflection on Derek Shelton going, you know what, I can't take this guy out because he's on a roll, or I don't trust my bullpen for 2 seconds to take him out of this baseball game. But we're not paying that much attention to what's going on. And the Twins are hanging in there somehow, some way, and getting a performance like that from Bailey Ober is certainly encouraging. It's too bad that Taj Bradley's out now.
Yeah.
He was pitching awfully well. So, after the playoffs are over for both the Wolves and the Wild, I guess we'll semi-pay attention to what the Twins are trying to do. But
hopefully they can stay relevant enough for us to pay attention.
Well,
they have won 3 in a row.
American League is just, especially the American League, their division is a mess, and 2 of the divisions are barely above 500, if that. So, yeah, they can hang in there. It's just they can win a few games, but their bullpen is just not going to hang in there.
The best part of the game last night was, for a moment, they looked like the old Piranhas. They had the double steal.
Oh, did they?
You see Byron Buxton scored on a double steal.
Honestly, I didn't see 1 second of the game.
Larnack was on first, Buxton was on third, Larnach goes to steal second.
Yeah.
Catcher throws it down. Larnach stops about 20 feet before he gets to the base, starts running back, and then Buxton barely got in, stealing home.
Well, I'm glad he's healthy.
Love it.
Yeah, it is. That's the kind of baseball they have to play, and that to make it, you gotta manufacture runs when you're a Twins team like that. They just don't have enough power day in, day out to beat up teams.
Big one tonight in Denver at Ball Arena. The Wild first elimination game of the postseason because they did not have this against Dallas. Down 3-1 in the series, obviously coming off of a very disappointing Game 4, which I guess we haven't heard your thoughts since.
Well, I watched every
loss.
second of that one, and I was a little stunned as the game developed. That all of a sudden they put up the stat and getting outshot 20-4 in the second period. I mean, and I'm going, wait, what? Is that true? I mean, you're seeing that Colorado is having an advantage.
And it was 1-1.
Exactly. And sometimes that can be deceiving because, sometimes guys take shots from the blue line and they're just easily turned away by the goalie. And, it's like goes as a shot and goal. Those do not include, great chances and great saves, but it does show you that the ice was tipped. And, it was a great line by John Hines. They made a conscious decision not to play the game the way they needed to play the game. Yeah. I thought that was one of the best statements I've ever heard from a coach in any sport. You could fill in the blanks with the Vikings, the Wolves certainly from last night, or the Wild the other night. This is and we can talk and cry about it all we want. We know, and you've said it 100 times. It's injuries play a big role in it, and missing Eriksson Ek in particular is just killing this team because of his versatility and what he does. But you know what? He's not here and he's not playing right now, so there's nothing, you can't cry about it. But it's all that matters is winning tonight's game. I was there in 2003 and the Wild came back from down 3-1 against a powerhouse Colorado team, and they won Game 5, they won Game 6, and then they were down in Game 7. They came back and won it.
Across the line, here's Brunette, he moves, Brunette back in, he scores! He scores! Minnesota has won! Minnesota has upset the Colorado Avalanche! Andrew Brunette, the game-winning goal!
That was
Bruno should be in Denver tonight. I know he's a coach of a different organization, but pay for Bruno to come in. Let him. He should have been there last night, giving them the talk at the hotel.
Well, that was a moment. And
give him a little pregame speech, Bruno.
I remember we were going down to the interview area, thinking, well, the game's over. They're going to lose this thing in regulation, and then they tied it up. And then Andrew Brunette ended Patrick Waugh's Hall of Fame career with that goal. And they did it. What was it? Nito Niederreiter scored an overtime goal to beat Colorado, right? Eliminate. You got that one too?
Quickly up with it, Danny Healy. Healy tape the center. Numbers for Minnesota. Here's Niederreiter in. Niederreiter scores! Niederreiter scores for Minnesota, and the Wild win in overtime 5-4 and advance to play the Chicago Blackhawks.
And the silence you hear is Ball Arena. It wasn't that. I think it was Pepsi Center at the time. I don't know. But
I forget the name of it.
Yeah. So there's a history. It can be done, and it's just we all know that it's an uphill climb, but they got the Wall of St. Paul. I mean, he's playing. I'm glad that he's obviously playing at a high level. Special teams. It's like our old friend, the great late Jerry Burns used to say, the big knockers have to come through. Kaprizov, Boldy, Quinn Hughes. All three of those guys. Boldy has been very quiet
in the series. Yes.
They need the Olympian to step up and be that guy tonight, along with Kaprizov, and obviously Quinn Hughes has been terrific in the series. He's been great. Yeah. He scored that goal, but he's never off the ice, it seems like. I don't know. They logged his minutes.
I don't know how he is conditioned to do this.
And he's now, I mean, you're in the Mile High City, and I'm sure they're used to it by now, but it's still, God, he just goes and goes and goes. But those are the guys that have to come through. I mean, it's nice to have the role players do it, but when push comes to shove, they're trying to win a game and bring it back to St. Paul. Those are the three guys that have to get it done for Minnesota.
When it comes to callers, who would you say is one of our big knockers on the station?
When it comes to callers?
Yeah.
Larry Mondello guy.
Well, I wouldn't call him a big knocker at all. I think he's like
sauce.
I think Larry Mondello guy is like a fourth liner, but Brody from Chaska's a big knocker.
Brody's on the line.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Hello?
What are you guys talking about knockers for?
Because if you were
the morning show, what's going on here?
If you were a Viking historian, which apparently you're not, you would know that Jerry Burns used that term a lot.
Well, and clearly you don't know what big knockers are because we don't have any on the Vikings right now.
Say on the radio either. Yeah, Burns said a lot of words you couldn't say on the radio.
Yeah, but you can say what I said. Yeah, but I'm quoting him, the man who was a very.
The problem is your current Vikings team doesn't have enough big knockers. We have one, Justin Jefferson. We need more.
Oh, they got a bunch now, right, Brody?
You just wait. Well, that's not exactly what I was calling it, but it brings up another point. Rosen, are you committing to saying that we're going 15-2 this year?
No, 15-2. What are you smoking over
Earlier
there?
you said, looking at the schedule, you can't find the third or fourth loss.
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a PA joke where they get the binoculars out and looking at the schedule, I can't find a third loss. Thank God.
Why do you need binoculars to look at the schedule?
Because my eyesight's failing me. I don't know. Come on, Brody. Not even you believe they're going to go 15-2.
Well, I'm not making my prediction until later on before the season starts.
It's good to know.
We don't even know the whole real schedule yet.
No,
There's a lot of people that just put out fake stuff out there.
Well, just wait till tomorrow night. Just wait for the real thing. You don't have to wait too much longer.
Now, listen. You have some of the worst takes, even worse takes in hockey and basketball than you do in football, and that's really hard to do.
You talking to me?
I've been listening.
What did I say?
Yeah.
That you're upset about?
No, finally, you're bringing up Sinek. I've been saying for years that Sinek is our most important player.
Who?
Eric Sinek.
Oh, Eric
Sinek. I thought you kind of slurred your words. Oh, my God, Brody.
That's funny he says it that way.
Why are you laughing? I've been saying it for years, and now look how we playing without him. People like you guys laughed at me when I said he's the hardest person, the hardest person for us to play without.
I would say that Eric Sinek is a very important player.
Is that S-E-N-E-K? Sinek?
That's so funny because for the longest time, like Leo watching hockey,
right?
He thought Marcus Johansson's name was Joe Hansen.
Oh, that's
he
funny.
Thought his name was Joe Hansen.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, else,
I agree with you on Eric Sinek.
Good. Well, finally you're doing it because you laughed at me when I said it before. Other years, even before we had Hughes and Kaprizov, I said he's our best player. Not best, but our most important player.
So why is that a bad take?
There's some hockey take for you.
Wasn't expecting that.
Doesn't mean we're going to lose. You guys are sitting here playing highlights from 20 years ago. We can't live in the past. We got to win tonight.
Oh, thanks for that revelation. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach Brody.
Well, you're the one talking about it, Rosen, because you live in the past.
I brought it up because I'm not living in the past. I brought it up.
That's all we got, Brody.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck on the Viking schedule. I can't wait to hear your 15-2 predictions after the schedule.
I'll call back and let you know.
Yeah, let me know.
All right, thanks.
I'll let you know.
All right, thanks, Brody.
Eric Sinek. Speaking of Eric Sinek, he did not make the trip to Colorado.
No.
Brody did not make the trip to Colorado. I did see one of the guys at The Athletic, either Russo or Joe Smith, said that Eric Sinek did skate today. I guess they're still hoping if they can extend the series. I'm just not very optimistic at any point of him or Brodin coming back.
But, you know what his injury? I know they never disclosed anything.
Well, I mean, he went like foot, ankle into the board.
Right,
so
that was it.
Yeah. They just say lower body.
Figure it out.
Don't know what else.
Brodin seemed to be more serious even because he
blocked a shot.
Oh, man.
So when you block a shot and you miss, you broke something. You broke a bone.
Probably did. It sucks.
I guess Eric Sinek could still be
technically
something broken, could be torn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Torn
guys,
muscle of some sort. But,
man.
Well, if it was just like a sprained ankle, he'd be back by now. And frankly, I'm sure something is broken and he still wants to be back.
Of course he does. He's a hockey player. Yeah.
We were talking about this with Brett earlier. The Wall of St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Has he changed how you view the goaltending position moving forward here in Minnesota?
Well, I got to believe he's changed how Bill Guerin probably thinks about it. And I know they'll probably still be loyal to Gus Bus, but I think everyone's pretty much in unison about that he's clearly the number one goalie. And maybe it wasn't fair to Gus to put him in after it was game one. He put him in game two.
He played game two, yeah.
Yeah, and after not playing for 2 weeks, 2, 3. I mean, he was out for a while.
More than that, yeah.
2-3 weeks, and that seemed to be almost. I mean, he seemed to be. And maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I thought he was sulking a little bit, not real happy about the situation. I'm sure he wasn't because he wants to play. All of a sudden, you get thrown in there in the mix, and it gave up a couple early goals that potentially could have been stopped, and that was it. That was his one chance. So, I mean, I can't imagine they've given up on him, but as far as looking at the future, and we knew this guy was a really promising young goaltender, he's clearly established himself as the guy. But, whether or not the Wild will move off of Gus Bus, I don't know. What's his contract situation? I don't even know.
He's under contract for a little while.
Yeah. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
Do you want to say congratulations to friend of the program?
Yes.
Isabella McCauley.
Oh, yeah.
Bella Isabella, and
What's she do now?
She took fourth in the Ann Arbor Regional today, NCAA Regional. So she's heading to the 2026 NCAA Division I Women's Golf Championship for
congratulations,
the third
Bella.
time in her career. So that'll take place 9 days from now, May 22nd, and through the 27th.
Yeah.
So